I created G-plans out of nutrition frustration. One day during nutrition studies at Duke University, we came across a revelation. We discovered that everyone has a completely unique metabolic structure and type. Eating a generic diet program will not get you the results you want, and you will continue on a path of yo-yo dieting forever. Ultimately, sustainable food programs are built within your own specific metabolic template.
I eat what Dr. G tells me to eat for my metabolic type. I don't call this program a diet because I eat more than on other programs.
Hello, thank you so much for tuning in today. Our presentation for today is going to be on hydration and water intake. So I see a few people already have checked in, kind of said hello. Hello, it looks like Roberta, Cami, good to see ya. Sonia, Beth checking in from Seattle. So glad y'all are here today. So we're going to get started with this presentation. We'll go ahead and jump right in, but do keep in mind, please feel free. I want you to definitely add in any questions that you have throughout this presentation in the chat box. So at the end, I will be running through those questions and answering those for you. So anything that pops up, please do feel free to let me know. We will go ahead and jump right in here today. All right. Okay, so hydration and water intake, super important. Here we go. All right, so why is water intake so important? The human body consists of about 60% water. So drinking water is essential for optimal health. Nearly all of our body's major systems depend on water to function and survive. Every day you lose water through your breath, your perspiration, urine, and bowel movements, which is why it's important to continue to drink water throughout the day. For your body to function at its best, you must replenish its water supply with beverages and food that contain water. By consuming enough water, you're helping your body function better and improving your overall health. Studies have also shown that drinking more water may also benefit weight loss and weight maintenance. Today, we're going to go a little bit further and discuss the importance of water intake, electrolytes as well, and hydration and the role that they can play in weight loss. So, a few functions of water in the body. Regulates body temperature, moistens tissues in the eyes, nose, and mouth. It protects our body organs and tissues, carries nutrients and oxygen to our cells, lubricates our joints, which is why one reason too, if you are dehydrated, you may notice like your joints are a little bit more kind of creaky. Lessens burden on the kidneys and liver by flushing out waste products, and helps dissolve minerals and nutrients to make them accessible to our body. And so with this being said, how does water intake play a role in weight loss? So water can help increase satiety, can help us feel more full. And this can also help boost your metabolic rate. Some evidence suggests that increasing water intake can promote weight loss by slightly increasing your metabolism, which can increase the number of calories that you burn on a daily basis. In one particular study in 2013, 50 young women demonstrated that drinking an additional 16.9 ounces of water 3 times per day before meals for a period of 8 weeks led to actual significant reductions in body weight and body fat compared with their pre-study measurements. Additional studies have found also that the best time to drink water for weight loss in particular is before a meal. So because drinking water before a meal can help you to feel a bit more full, it can also help to reduce the amount that you consume during that meal, ultimately leading to increased weight loss. So great time, definitely kind of have another glass of water or so before your meal, definitely can kind of help you cut back on your portion sizes. And with electrolytes, they're a very important part of hydration. The term electrolyte refers to a class of minerals you're likely familiar with. So things like sodium, potassium, chloride, bicarbonate, all carry an electric charge and affect the pH balance of the fluids in your body, making them electrolytes. They perform critically important functions. They're involved in most everything your body does, especially ensuring your muscles and your nerves function properly. Today, there are many popular electrolyte drinks on the market, giving the impression at times that the more electrolytes we consume, the better. That is not necessarily the case. So most often we're best to stick with plain water. However, there are definitely a few situations where replacing lost electrolytes is going to be important. When to replace electrolytes. So if you're exercising for 45 to 60 minutes with high intensity or in very high heat, it is definitely best to replace some of the lost electrolytes. Also, when you're sick, when you're losing fluids while you're sick, you definitely need to replace those electrolytes. When you're spending, in general, just an extended period of time in a higher heat environment, it would be advisable as well to replace lost electrolytes. And last, so if you're following a very low calorie, or in particular, a very low carb diet, especially in the first phases, when you're starting a lower carb diet, for example, you do begin to lose more electrolytes. So it's a good time. A lot of people, if you've been on any kind of keto plans, that keto flu is often due to lost electrolytes. So in those scenarios, it's definitely important to replace those. Signs of low electrolytes can include fatigue, headache, nausea, blood pressure changes, muscle cramps, low energy, and just not feeling well in general. It is important to understand also that you can flush out electrolytes by drinking too much water as well. So for that reason, it's really important to ensure that you have a good water intake and you're not drinking too much water also. I have a really good example here. So this is just a simple homemade electrolyte drink. So something super easy you can make, very natural whole ingredients on your own at home. Just uses a little bit of lemon and lime juice. Coconut water is going to be that main ingredient, which is great, rich in electrolytes. A little bit of honey, grated ginger if you do like ginger, and then sea salt to taste. So something very simple and easy, very all natural that you can make at home. Other great choices for electrolyte drinks are going to be things like electrolyte infused waters or powders and tablets. With these things, you definitely want to keep an eye on the sugar content. So a lot of electrolyte drinks, of course, can be very high in sugars. So keep an eye on that. So that being said, definitely look for lower sugar sports drinks, smoothies, kind of getting the advantage of all these different fruits, the natural electrolytes in those, and milk as well is a great electrolyte drink. And let me know. So do you have a favorite electrolyte drink in general? Please let me know in the chat box. I'd love to share those at the end of this presentation as well. All right. And so how much water should I drink? This is going to be a good general goal for you to shoot for. Anywhere from about a half ounce to 1 ounce of water for each pound that you weigh is a good starting point. Now, keep in mind too, if you're looking at, for example, that half per ounce for each pound that you weigh, you want to make sure that you start slowly. So feel free to slowly work your way up in water intake. And this is not a one size fits all. everybody might be a little bit different. So it's very important also to really pay attention to your level of thirst to determine if you may need more or less water. Here's a few factors as well that can also influence how much water you may need to consume. First off, of course, the temperature or the season. So obviously, when it's hotter outside, you're sweating more, you will need more water under those circumstances than if it's a little bit colder outside. Your diet in general. So if you drink a lot of coffee or caffeinated beverages, you might lose more water and need to increase your water intake. If you consume a lot of foods that are also higher in sodium, high in salt, and if you do not eat many hydrating foods like fresh fruits and vegetables, this will also increase your needs for water intake. Your activity level. So of course, if you have a more active job, if you're moving a lot throughout the day, you will definitely require more water than someone who's working at a desk. If you exercise, you will also, of course, need to drink more to cover that water loss as well. Your health. So we mentioned before, of course, if you're sick, if you have an infection or a fever, your needs for hydration increase. So you're losing fluids, you'll need to increase your water intake. And lastly, of course, if you're pregnant or breastfeeding, you'll definitely need to boost up your water intake to ensure that you're staying hydrated. And last thing here, I'd really love if you could help me share any tips and tricks that you have. I'd love to share these as well. Anything you add in the chat box. If you have any really helpful tips that work good for you to monitor your water intake and to increase it as well. So please feel free to share those. I'd love to share those in just a moment also. All right. All right. So awesome. I see a lot of things in the chat box here. Looks like, yeah, Donna says, does age affect how hydration happens? That's a really good question, Donna. And I would say that could depend. But in general, yes, your needs for hydration might increase for various reasons. It could be a little more individual based on person to person. But that general goal of starting with about a 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce of water would be a good goal for you to at least start with. And yeah, I see Ketra here says as well, pickle juice definitely has that salt and potassium. Definitely as well, of course, does have a lot of sodium. So is something like you mentioned, to keep an eye on that so that you're not taking in too much sodium. But great example too, like you said, no sugar added there. And yes, Ketra says as well, oranges have good potassium as well as watermelon. That's why another good kind of electrolyte drink you can make at home is something you can do combining that coconut water and some orange juice and maybe a little salt as well. Of course, it does have a little sugar in that, but a great natural source for electrolytes. It's awesome. Awesome suggestions. Very good stuff. And I thank y'all so much for tuning in today. Please feel free. I got a couple more minutes here. So if you have any other questions or things you'd like to add, please go ahead. I will mention, of course, so our presentation for next week is going to be on how to eat healthy while you're traveling. So that can be tricky a lot, and we're going to go a little bit more into detail on things that you can do to ensure that you can stay on track with your goals and find healthy options while you're out and about as well. Oh yeah, and yeah, Ketra added as well. She said cucumbers. That's an awesome additive too. Beth says here, oh, perfect. always has some water by her. That's an awesome suggestion to keep. If you have a certain bottle or a certain container that you enjoy drinking out of in the first place, I'll find some people too really enjoy using a straw, and that can help them to drink more. So finding a bottle or something that you enjoy drinking out of in the first place, and then making sure that you always have that by you, near you. So that can dramatically help you to kind of have sips throughout the day and boost your water intake. So thank y'all so much for these great suggestions you added today too. And please tune in next week when we'll talk a little bit more about healthy choices and how you can stay on track with your goals while you're traveling. So thanks so much, and please have a great rest of your day, and tune in next week.